The most controversial popes in history, power, scandal, and divine drama for nearly 2,000 years. The papacy has been seen as the voice of God on earth. But not all popes lived up to that divine standard. Some were warriors, some were tyrants, some were sinners cloaked in sacred robes. At just 18 years old, John XII was elected pope, ushering in a papacy so scandalous, one chronicler claimed he turned the Lateran Palace into a brothel. He was accused of rape, incest, murder, and even praying to pagan gods while drunk. He held wild orgies in sacred halls and openly sold church offices to the highest bidder. When Holy Roman Emperor Otto I tried to intervene, John excommunicated him only to be deposed by a synod of bishops shortly after. John XII reportedly died during another affair, either from a stroke or at the hands of a jealous husband. Hardly a saintly end. Born Rodrigo Borgia, this pope's name is forever linked with nepotism, bribery, and unholy excess. He bought his way into the papacy, then used it to enrich and empower his children, especially the infamous Cesare and Lucrezia Borgia. His reign was filled with tales of corruption, poisonings, and one infamous event, the Banquet of Chestnuts, an orgy allegedly held in the Vatican with courtesans and cardinals. While some stories may be exaggerated, one thing is clear: Pope Alexander VI transformed the Vatican into a den of dynastic ambition, not divine devotion. Number 3, Pope Urban II R. 1088 to 1099. The Crusader Pope. 1095, Pope Urban II launched the First Crusade, calling on European Christians to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim control. His speech led to one of history's bloodiest campaigns. Cities were sacked, civilians slaughtered, including 10,000 Jews across Europe, massacred by crusading mobs before they even left for Jerusalem. While hailed by some as a defender of Christianity, Urban's crusade left a legacy of violence, intolerance, and religious warfare that lasted for centuries. Number 4, Pope Boniface VIII R. 1294 to 1303. The arrogant absolutist Boniface VIII once declared, "Outside the church, there is no salvation, and outside obedience to the Pope, there is no church." His papacy was marked by a bitter power struggle with secular monarchs, especially King Philip IV of France. Boniface issued the bull Unam Sanctum, asserting total papal supremacy over earthly rulers. He was later kidnapped, beaten, and died shortly after his release, humiliated and broken. Dante would later place him in the 8th circle of hell in the Divine Comedy, among the Simonists. Number 5, Pope Pius XII R. 1939 to 1958. The Silent Shepherd? During World War II, Pope Pius XII led the Church in an era of global horror. But his silence in the face of Nazi atrocities has remained one of the most fiercely debated topics in Church history. Supporters argue he worked behind the scenes to protect Jews, avoiding Nazi retaliation. Critics claim his silence enabled genocide, or at least failed to stop it. Recently released documents have reignited the debate, but one thing remains true: Pius XII's legacy is stained by ambiguity and moral uncertainty. Number 6, Pope Stephen VI R. 896 to 897. The Cadaver Synod. Finally, we reach one of the most bizarre episodes in papal history. Pope Stephen VI put a dead man on trial. He exhumed the corpse of his predecessor, Pope Formosus, dressed it in papal robes, and tried it in court for violating church law. Formosus was found guilty, stripped, mutilated, and tossed into the river. The people revolted. Stephen was imprisoned and strangled, and the incident became known as the infamous Cadaver Synod. The papacy, from teenage tyrants to dead body trials, the papacy, while sacred, has not been immune to human error, ambition, and scandal. Today, the Catholic Church promotes humility and transparency, but history reminds us, even the holiest thrones have been touched by human darkness. Which of these popes shocked you the most? Did we miss one that should be on the list? Leave your thoughts in the comments below.